It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jenn Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
And welcome to Countywide. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Jennifer Cohen. Today, we are talking with Marie Carpenter. She's from the Cottonwood Public Safety Communications Center. She's the manager there. Let's bow down before her now because she deserves that.
Oh, thanks.
Marie, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. That's quite the communication center you have there. It is an enormous building with a whole lot going on.
Yes.
I'm really surprised at how far your reach is and how much you do there. Mm-hmm. So if you would please start us out by telling us a little bit about the Communication Center.
It is a 6-position center, which means we can have 6 communication specialists on duty at one time. We do have a 7th console for training that's a live console as well. We are a public safety answering point, which is a PSAP, a 911 answering point for large portion of the Verde Valley, the city of Cottonwood, Cornville, Verde Village, Village of Oak Creek, Montezuma Rimrock, unincorporated areas throughout the Verde Valley, and lots of cell phone towers and sectors. And we're also a dispatch center, multi-discipline regional center. We dispatch for the Cottonwood Police Department, Cottonwood Fire Department, the Verde Valley Ambulance Company, the Verde Valley Fire District, the Jerome Fire Department, Sedona Fire District, and the Copper Canyon Fire and Medical District.
Yeah, so you must be incredibly busy.
We stay pretty busy, yes.
Yeah, everything that happens funnels through you in this area.
Quite a bit, quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, and it runs 24/7, 365.
Absolutely.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that everything does funnel through you. You're the first to know. So the primary source of help would be the 911 dispatcher.
Correct.
And I feel that you guys don't get enough credit.
Oh, well, thank you.
Can we talk about some of the misconceptions about being
Sure.
a 911 dispatcher?
Absolutely. Initially thought that a dispatcher was a kind of a secretary clerical position. And when I went into this position over 20 years ago, I thought that myself, and found out very quickly that when a person is having literally the worst day of their life, some sort of crisis, their first person that they make contact with is the 911 dispatcher. So we have to gather information, calm them down, maybe give instructions to them that could save a life, such as CPR instructions, or how to protect themselves if they are trapped in a burning building or in a sinking vehicle in floodwater. There's very specific actions and steps to take to help that person until help can arrive. So it did take on more of a first responder role in regards to answering 911 calls. Not on par with a first responder necessarily that would respond in a patrol vehicle, but we had a role to play, and it was very exciting, very dynamic, very stressful, and there are a lot of efforts underway to really put that recognition on the dispatchers for their efforts. There's even legislative action. One of the House bill sponsors is a former dispatcher, and the co-sponsor is a former FBI agent. So they're taking steps to recognize dispatchers as first responders as they respond by answering 911 and kind of being that first presence to gather information for the true first responders, our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics.
Right.
It quickly turned into something as a dispatcher that I recognized I fell in love with and had a real passion for it. So yeah, there were some misconceptions for it. I thought maybe it was just going to be an answering the telephone, talking a little bit on the radio, no stress, no problem, light duty assignment. But I was rude awakening is what I received.
Yes. I would say so. And what I see about the dispatcher is the vast amount of knowledge you have to have. You're practically an EMT. Now, you may not bandage someone, but you
Correct.
do have to say, okay, you're going to apply pressure here. There's a
Absolutely, yes.
poisoning, if there's a burn, if there's a concussion. You have to know how to respond to that.
Yes.
So the training that you guys must go through is extensive.
It is. It is. The training program is at least 6 months long. Probationary period is 12 months long because they spend most of their time in training. We get CPR certified. We go through training through International Academies of Emergency Dispatch for police, medical, and fire. We have to know certain details about the National Crime Information Center. We run inquiries for wanted people, missing persons, stolen vehicles. We enter records in those databases. And just ongoing training, stuff that they don't write in the books. Because it's such a dynamic profession, and we deal with so many circumstances. There's just so many opportunities to learn just by doing the job and experiencing it. And there are days where I say literally, I have now heard everything. And then the next day, I will say the exact same thing because it's just all the experiences are so dynamic and different.
Yes, I bet. But being on the front lines of helping someone, you know, they've just had a horrible thing happen, and now they're receiving help. That dispatcher is their number one person who's going to get them to the places they need to be, the people they want. You guys are heroes, as we say, just like the firemen, just like the policemen. 911 dispatchers are heroes for getting it, and you're the first one. You know, you are the true first responders because you're like, okay, where do we need to go? We need to go here, we need to go fire, need to go there, with a huge amount of things. Now, I have a statistic. I love statistics. 2017, the call center received almost 25,000 calls. 25,000 911 calls. And the interesting thing these days is over 72% of them were from cell phones.
Correct.
Now, you know, a few years ago, it wasn't great to call 911 on a cell phone because you were breaking up or something like that. But everybody's got a cell phone. In fact, most people don't have home phones anymore because they have cell phones. How has that changed the dynamic for the 911 dispatcher?
I've seen it just in the time I've been a dispatcher. The 911 network, first of all, was never thought to handle the kind of volume and technology that we're faced with these days. When it was first implemented back in the late 60s. So that in and of itself has its challenges. The typical accident, for example, a person would stop at the nearest gas station or house they found and say, call 911. So you get that one call reporting this one event. Now we have people that are mobile and they carry their mobile devices with them. So an accident could generate several 911 calls, you know, maybe a dozen if it's on the freeway. So we're getting different stories from different people. I don't know if you've played the telephone game, but you know, relay of information, it kind of changes a little bit. So you're trying to sort through and get the accurate details of the incident, but also trying to manage multiple calls coming in. Then with the wireless, we're getting GPS coordinates.
Right.
And there are things that can affect the accuracy of the address information, such as, you know, signal strength, atmospheric conditions, elevation, if they're down in a canyon, for example.
Right.
So we're kind of dealing with that. The 911 network is evolving, though. It's moving even further, and we're looking at the next generation 911 environment. So it's designed to handle these technologies and then some. So instead of getting just the, you know, latitude and longitude, we'll be considering elevation as far as the location of a person.
That will be very helpful in
We'll
rescues.
be looking at text to 911 for those who can't use the traditional voice telephone communications, either because of maybe a disability or maybe a circumstance.
That's true. And we'll get more into the text to 911 thing that's coming up here shortly.
Absolutely.
Go to cottonwoodaz.gov if you want more information about the Cottonwood Public Safety Communications Center. We're talking with Manager Marie Carpenter. We'll be right back with more Countywide, so don't go away.
Here's 3 things you should do. Get a flu vaccine each year. Take everyday preventive actions to stop the spread of germs, like covering coughs and sneezes and washing your hands, and stay home if you're sick. If you do get the flu, contact a healthcare professional right away and take flu antivirals if prescribed. Don't be a dreaded spreader. Take 3 steps to fight flu.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter, your religion or, what part of the world you're from, that just sort of all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
Yo siento que soy parte de esa bendición que ese niño recibió al irse a su casa ya sanado.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Mandalay Homes introduces the new Ion Series, a revolutionary new approach to home building innovation and energy management. Built on a foundation of industry-leading energy efficiency and sustainable building practices, the Ion Series home redefines how we use and manage renewable energy. Contact a Mandalay Home sales executive today to learn more, or visit one of our Ion Series communities throughout northern Arizona.
With Marie Carpenter. She's the manager of the Cottonwood Public Safety Communications Center. Go to cottonwoodaz.gov if you want more information. They're also hiring. If you're interested in becoming part of the team, you can check out all the information you need right there. So before the break, we mentioned the text to 911 is not in the area yet, but it is coming. It is a statewide effort to get that through.
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
When can we expect to see that, do you think?
I don't have an exact timeline. It's a coordinated effort with the state of Arizona. So whenever we pay our phone bill, our cell phone bill, funds are collected to support 911 in Arizona. And the state is implementing the Next Generation 911 project. So the network, the backbone, is being implemented. And Gila County is the pilot program for text to 911 through the state coordinated effort. Right. We are looking at our network upgrade, so we'll be on the Next Generation 911 network. The project should be complete at the end of June.
Oh, wow.
So once that's complete, we will be, along with all of the other Yavapai County agencies, on the Next Gen network. And then we can go ahead and submit our request for funding and start the project for the text to 911 implementation. So it's right around the corner. It's nice to see that Gila is being turned up for text to 911 and they're doing their testing. So now, you can start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's coming. We're ready for it. We're going to be starting the training and the preparation in our center here very shortly.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's 911 Education Month, which is awesome. That's a great thing. The whole month is about educating yourself on how to use 911. So who better to ask for tips on how to use 911? Marie, can you give us a rundown on tips on how to make a good 911 call?
Well, first of all, it's important to know what is and what is not an emergency. Often 911 gets misused for non-emergency events. If it's a immediate threat to health, life, safety, immediate threat or in progress event that is damaging property, or what you would call an unstable incident, call 911. We wouldn't want anybody to not call 911 if they're not 100% sure, but to ask questions or report something that's not an emergency, we want them to not tie up 911 lines for that. Additionally, when somebody calls 911, it's just so important to know your location. In order for us to send you help, we need to know where you are. And in this area, we have, addressing. If you know your address, great. But we're so mobile. We're out and about. We're hiking. We're mountain biking. We're traveling. The weather's great. We're getting out and doing things. So it's so important when a person goes out and does hiking in the backwoods and the trails in our area that they, first of all, tell somebody where they're going. Make sure that they they know where they started from, the name of the trail they're on, consider landmarks, mileposts, things that they can see to tell us where they are. The GPS technology on a cell phone, like I said, it has limitations. It can be affected by a number of factors. So we really rely heavily on what the caller tells us about their location in order to send them the help they need. Another thing, try to stay calm. You know, telling somebody to stay calm when they're not is not going to change the outcome. They're going to not be calm.
Right.
But the thing about it is, if you can give us the information we need, we can get that response started right away. So location, answer the dispatcher's questions. The questions don't delay the response. The questions are necessary to get the responders the information they need, so they bring the right equipment, so they respond appropriately and can prepare their response. So we do ask a lot of questions, but while the 911 call taker is asking information, questions and gathering information, their partner in the room, or partners, are generating the response and mobilizing resources.
It's happening simultaneously.
Oh, yes. Yes, right. Very quickly.
That's true. Now, what happens if you call 911 by accident? What should you do?
Well, stay on the lane. It happens, especially with our mobile devices. They get bumped. They call 911. Sometimes the home phone gets bumped while we're cleaning, or the kid picks it up and accidentally dials 911. Just stay on the line. Let us know that everything's okay. And if there's any doubt, we might send somebody over just to make sure everything's okay. But if it's a 911 hang-up, we have to try and call it back, verify that there's no emergency, and if we can't verify that there is a non-emergency, we might have to send help. Wireless devices is a little hard to do because, like I said, people are so mobile and tracking down where they are, and the probability is a consideration. The probability of a misdial on a 911 wireless device is so much higher than it is on a landline device.
Of course, and then don't let your children play with your phone. Even your old cell phones can still call 911, even if the chip's out, even if the line is off. If there's a battery, it can still call 911. So don't give your kids your phone. Give them a toy phone, plus the batteries and the chemicals in it. They don't want your kid playing with that anyway. But definitely don't give your kid the old phone, because they can call 911. And if they do, say, I'm sorry, it was my child, everything's fine. Of course, be very conscious of that, because it is tying up the line, and it does create a stir. Oh my gosh, we have to check this out. You got to check that out. So make sure you don't do that. Now, there is a non-emergency number. If you have questions or you want to report something that's delayed, something that may have happened before, that it's not an emergency, your house is not on fire, it's all done and said, you're going to call 928-649-1397. 649-1397. That's if you don't know who to call and it's not an emergency, call that number first. Okay. Now, talk to me again about dispatchers. What makes a good dispatcher?
First of all, somebody who can work under pressure. We call it multitasking. It's actually being able to very quickly switch tasks. Someone with compassion, empathy, and I think the big one is understanding that you are there to support. You are there to serve. We support our police officers and our firefighters and our paramedics. We are support to them. They are the truest sense first responder. And while we may take the call and that work is being done to classify us as first responders, we are there to serve and support them in that role. The other thing is we're here for our community. We are here to be there for them. And people, when they call 911, are having the worst day of their life. So their reaction is appropriate for them, but it may not be what I would do. So you have to take that into consideration, take yourself out of the equation a little bit. And when they're upset, they may not be upset at you, so you can't take things personally. So they might lash out and yell, and that behavior is normal for that circumstance. So being able to just kind of have a firewall and be able to let it roll off a little bit. Okay, well, that's good to know. We're going to take another quick break, but we'll be right back with more Countywide. Continue talking with Marie Carpenter. It's 911 Education Month. Don't go away.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed? I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
It's a great place to raise a family.
Strength, fuerza. When I look back where we've come from to where we are today, it makes my heart very happy.
Potential. Potencia.
For me, this house means all of us together.
Sorry. Together.
Security.
Security.
Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
We develop quality citizens who keep our core, our country, and our communities side by side on the winning side. Not for glory, but for honor. For a code that isn't written or spoken, but lived. It's what we do. It's who we are. It's the battle cry of our fighting spirit. Battles won. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
And welcome back to Countywide. We have just a few moments left. We're talking with Marie Carpenter. She's the manager of the Cottonwood Public Safety Communications Center. It's 911 Education Month. We've been talking about how to make a proper 911 call. What makes a good dispatcher? Of course, compassion seems to be the #1 thing. We've talked about the misconceptions around the job. What we wanted to point out, Marie, was it's a team. You're not alone. It's teamwork. You've got a great support group behind you. It's not all on your shoulders. So that was kind of another misconception there.
Yes.
And next week is Telecommunications Appreciation, Telecommunications Workers Appreciation Week.
Yes, National Public Safety Telecommunications Appreciation Week.
There we go.
Yes.
Yes. So thank a 911 dispatcher.
Yeah, and you know it's a great week. We get a lot of support and appreciation from our first responder family, the police officers and the firefighters and paramedics. They let us know that they appreciate our efforts, and we thank them for that. And thank our dispatchers for doing the job they do and serving their community and their agencies.
That's true. And the agencies just keep growing, and the facility keeps growing, and what you handle there, you just received your National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's
Missing Kids Readiness Project designation.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another big thing added to the hat there.
Yes, absolutely. It's a designation received through training and adoption of a model policy regarding missing and exploited children, and just a commitment to our community's children.
Right.
And in terms of 911, a missing person is a 911 call. There's no waiting period. We want to get that information as soon as possible, so the efforts to locate that child or missing person are underway right away.
Right. See, and another misconception, you got to wait 24 hours to report somebody missing. Not so anymore. This is not the TV from the 60s.
Right.
You don't have to wait. Somebody's missing, your child is missing, call 911 immediately. Marie, thank you for the job that you're doing.
Thank you for having me and for saying so. I appreciate it.
And you can see that you're passionate about your job.
Thank you.
You can see that you're passionate about helping people, and it really comes through. You've got a great team there. If you're interested in becoming part of the team, if you think you can handle being a 911 dispatcher, I'm sure you can. All you need is compassion, big heart, the ability to stay calm in a stressful situation. And of course, Marie's willing to talk to you about anything you want. Well, go to the website, cottonwoodaz.gov. You're going to see there's a little thing. It says we're hiring, all the information there, all the trainings. There's people to back you up. People are behind you. You're going to have everything you need. Don't be afraid. It's okay. Everything will be fine.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you again.
Appreciate
it.
And that's all the time we have for Countywide. We'll see you again next time.